Okay, I think we've got a critical mass, or at least enough to get started. So I'm going to toss the mic over to Rohan, who many of you know, who's going to talk about, who's going to introduce himself and is going to talk about the Advocate Leaders Program, in which he is really the main man when it comes to our advocacy efforts. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Rohan Jyothinagram.
All right. Thanks, Chad. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
All righty. Well, so as Chad said, I'm Rohan. I'm the Policy and Operations Assistant here at OCRA. For main point of contact with the Advocate Leaders Program. So we'll just go ahead and get started. Just a brief overview of the program, and feel free to ask any questions as they come. All righty. All right, and just here's just a picture of everyone. I think this was 2020, so our last in-person advocacy day here on the Capitol.
That was immediately pre-pandemic. That was what was it, like the 15th or 16th of March 2020?
I think
Yeah, we got it done right. Yeah, it was like right under the radar. Like I feel like there was just people starting to get concerned, and little did we know.
Well, Rohan, just to give color to that too. Sorry, my name is Vanessa Kramer. I'm joining things a little bit late and kind of clunky, so excuse my entrance. But I just think it's important to give justice where justice is due here, and say that I think it was like March 8th or 9th, and so we had Hill staff try and call and cancel the meetings that we had scheduled for our last advocacy day, but it's a testament to our program and the strength of our advocate leaders that we held their feet to the fire. We kept these meetings and we went on and had a great event. But I seriously think it was just under the wire, because the day after our Hill meetings was the day that the Hill shut down entirely to all outsiders.
Thanks, Vanessa. So here's just a general overview about the program. Our advocate leaders, we want them to serve as our boots on the ground, as Vanessa likes to refer to them, in the individual states and district, and kind of build and cultivate these relationships with their elected officials, meaning their two U.S. senators and then their House congressional member. We have them issue actions to their community. So that's usually OCRA will send out action alerts when there's any sort of relevant legislation that's in our legislative interests or the interests of the ovarian cancer community. And after developing those relationships, kind of serve as like a whip, like the whip in the Congress and House, to make sure that our legislators follow through with the things they say they're gonna do for us and vote on specific legislation. And also work with OCRA in general to organize any meetings, whether it's with legislative staff or just any elected officials in your community at the local and state level. And then one of the goals is also to expand our network of advocates. So OCRA is we're a national organization, so we don't have state chapters. And so we really do depend on advocate leaders throughout the states to kind of build their network within their state and community, and to be able to make our voice stronger.
That's right, and that's a great rundown, Rohan. And I just wanted to add a couple of things. The Congress really responds to advocacy. You think, that you look at the way Congress runs, especially on a day like today, and you think, well, it's dysfunctional and nothing happens, right? But you really have to get in there and let them know how important these issues are for them, and then they will listen, they will take action. Ovarian Cancer Research Alliance, our Advocate Leaders Program is really unique. We have a really engaged group of patient advocates that have relationships and get stuff done at the congressional level. Just as an example, one of the programs that we advocate on behalf of is the Ovarian Cancer Research Program at the Department of Defense. And this is really the only federal funding, the only program that has dedicated federal funds for ovarian cancer research year after year. And due to the advocate leaders' advocacy and our efforts, this is a program that we've recently seen increases in funding in. And it's not as though every program, every one of the 30 or so programs that are part of this program are getting increases. It's only one. Ovarian cancer is one of the only programs seeing these kind of increases, and that's due to, in large part, the efforts of our advocate leaders, who have really done a terrific job pushing their members of Congress to keep attention on this program and to hold their feet to the fire. So this program has grown a lot over the past 6 years. It went from about 15 or 20 people to over 100 people now. And we're really seeing that the impact can be really felt. And if folks are interested in seeing Congress improve their circumstances, whether it be for research funding or other types of advocacy efforts, I think we'll probably have space for you moving forward. So didn't mean to take us off the rails, Rohan, but I just wanted to add a couple things.
No, yeah, no, always good to get the more specific information. So speaking of growth, that kind of transitions into this graph we have here. This is as of 2020, so this will be slightly updated after the new year, as we've going to be welcoming in some new advocate leaders pretty soon. But the goal is to make this entire map teal, and that's what we're
right. And so we do have, now that you see that New Mexico now is going to be teal, I think, coming up soon. But if you're from one of these states, if you're from Wyoming, is anyone here? If you are, pipe up immediately. If you're from Idaho, Wyoming, Nebraska, or Kansas, or Vermont, and I think maybe Rhode Island over there is also white. If you're from any of those states, unmute yourself immediately and let us know, and we're going to track you down and try to get you into the fold. We don't have any advocates from those states as of yet, and so we're trying to find them.
And to do some due diligence here, we did just finish a special application period, and I think we did get some advocate leader applicants from those states. So soon enough, some of the white will be blue or teal, excuse me. But I think to Chad's point, his earlier point, we are a relatively small incidence-wise, right, disease community relative to some of the diseases, some of breast cancer or prostate cancer. But it really is a testament to the strength of our drumbeat that from the federal government's perspective, we were able to get an increase in research funding for fiscal year 2022. And just to really give color to what Chad was saying, under the Department of Defense program, we are one of 31 disease-specific medical research programs. And I think we were one of 2 or 3 programs that actually got an increase in this funding year. And so this has only given us even more momentum and whetted our appetite further to grow the program, because we're already seeing the impact over the past couple of years of the growth that we've had.
Yep, absolutely. So let's keep the ball rolling.
All right. So probably the big show in our program, the centerpiece, Advocacy Day, as you saw the photo from the beginning of the slides. This is like our big, really main commitment that we ask for all of our advocate leaders, is to participate in this Advocacy Day. And as you can see, usually around the end of February, beginning of March, to match with the appropriation cycle. Obviously, unfortunately, this past year, we had to do it online. And then we're, like we mentioned earlier, we're hosting one in November. And fortunately, so hopefully in March of 2022, we will be able to be back in person. But this Advocacy Day kind of consists of a 2-day event. So the first day is training. You get to meet your fellow advocates, go over the video software and how to set everything up, go through our legislative asks and just kind of practice telling your story. to your representatives. And then the next day will be the actual meetings with your representatives, or usually their staff. And those will usually go all day. And then sometimes they might, if they have to be rescheduled because things do happen, they will, our consulting partner, Soapbox, will let you know immediately and you'll have a schedule. But we welcome everyone to these events, whether you're an advocate leader or not. So we will, we'll open up, we'll let you know when registration's opening. We hope to see as many people there as possible.
Yeah, one of the things that's interesting, and many of you who are on this call, I know have joined us both in person and through a virtual advocacy day. But while we all prefer to be in person, we did notice this past year that having it virtually allows a lot more people to participate who might not be able to travel to DC. And so that was a really nice impact, and it made us realize that we'd like to have a virtual component to our advocacy efforts annually. So, moving forward, looking to do both an in-person and a virtual advocacy day moving forward, so that we can maximize the impact that people can have. There are some people who really just aren't able to come to DC or walk around on the Hill, but this way people can attend meetings even if they're in the middle of their infusion, which we had a couple of people do this past session. And that not only is just an unbelievable commitment to the issue, but it's such an impactful way to meet with members of Congress and their staff.
So these are this, besides the attending of Advocacy Day, these are just the general kind of guidelines and expectations of what is expected in the program. We have a monthly call every month, about an hour every month. So it used to be the format was just a general call with the whole program every month, the first Thursday. But as Chad has mentioned, with our program being online, we've grown so much so that we really wanted to keep that kind of special niche focused effort. So we'll still have a monthly call with the whole program every other month. And then the alternating month, we've created these committees modeled after the congressional committees that focus on 4 specific policy issues. Those include health disparities. One focuses on clinical trials. The other one's precision medicine. And clinical trials, health disparities, precision medicine, and cost of care and treatment, drug pricing, and things like that. I feel like I've said them so many times as we did the interviews earlier this week. And as I stated before, respond to our action alerts. We usually, we'll send them out on emails, and we have a message board we use that I'll send them out. Maintain these relationships, and then various awareness activities, and even maybe even partnering with some of our people and community partners to help maybe organize a fundraiser or awareness event in your area, especially during this past month, Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. And just overall, serving as an ambassador for your state and district for the ovarian cancer community. Like I said, we're a national organization, so we really need the advocate leaders out in the states and in the state legislators and in the town halls and all those various levels of smaller and local government.
Yes, and just as an example of the awareness activities, we did ask advocate leaders to reach out to their state legislatures or mayor's office or governors, and to try to get them to make a proclamation about Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month or a resolution. And many did, and many were successful. And we asked them to send images of those proclamations or links to those proclamations to us. And then just, I think, an hour or so ago, we posted on all of our social media a little digital quilt of all the resolutions and proclamations that we gathered this year. So it's a really nice visual, and it's a testament to the great work that folks have done at their state and local levels. I know that that sometimes proclamations seem like they're not as impactful as legislative change, but it really is important that people stop and think about the impact of ovarian cancer And having these proclamations is really an important step. And it also allows you to have strengthen your relationship with legislators so that you can thank them for doing this proclamation and then maybe ask them to do something else moving forward. I think it serves a dual purpose.
Definitely. I just wanted to echo what Chad was saying and kind of just say how that serves as an example. If you look at these bullets here on this slide of how, right, you're participating in awareness activities, you're cultivating and maintaining relationships with lawmakers and their staff, like that alone is sort of emblematic of the commitment we ask of advocate leaders. And I also want to emphasize that even though it might not be on this slide, we don't send you out there without any tools or resources for the proclamation resolutions, for the OCAM proclamations and resolutions. In particular, we posted a toolkit, and we often post outreach language for folks to use, and of course, encourage them to personalize as they see fit. But it's not just like us sort of barking orders at you and issuing assignments. We really like to think that we give you everything you need to thrive in all assignments, so to speak. And then I also just wanted to expound on the first bullet there about program structure and format. So as Rohan noted, we have monthly Zoom calls with advocate leaders. And about 6 of these, about half of the time, so about 6 in any given year, are going to be the general advocate leader calls with everyone in the program dialing in. And these are really generalized updates. At the end, if there's time, we open up the floor to questions, comments, concerns, story swapping, etc. But then, as Rohan also noted, we do have these 4 committees. And the idea with these committees was to maintain a sense of intimacy in the program as we grew, and also because we have a rather ambitious agenda for the next 5 years when it comes to various policies. And being a relatively small shop ourselves, we were thinking about how we really sort of leverage existing resources and expand our bandwidth. And one thought we had to that end was to create these committees with the aim of creating sort of subject area armchair experts within our program. And I know that this also satiates the appetite for a lot of advocate leaders who have been in the program for several years now and felt like they were ready to learn more and really drill down in specific issue areas.
Alrighty, I think the final, how to get involved, how to apply. As I mentioned earlier, this year we are hosting an additional advocacy, virtual advocacy day. So if you've participated in our one this past March, will be the exact same format with the training on first day. And this will be Monday the 15th, and the Hill meetings will be Tuesday the 16th. These, once again, this event is welcome to everyone, regardless if you're applying for the Advocate Leader program or not. Obviously, we hope that you do. And additionally, we will, around this same time, we are going to be releasing the application cycle for 2022 around this time in November.
Yeah, and I think I'll just, Rohan's very diplomatic. The November Virtual Advocacy Day, it is a requirement of advocate leaders. That is the one sort of program term and condition. Of course, we understand that life gets in the way, but we do require participation in all advocacy days. But I'll take it. I'll be a little bit bolder than Rohan, I should say, and say that we do open up these advocacy days to everyone, because as far as we're concerned, you know, the bigger, the louder, the more participants we have, the more visible we are with having folks make our legislative asks, the better off we are. And so that's the thinking there. There's really no gain to exclusivity when it comes to these virtual advocacy days.
So we're excited about this opportunity to have another advocacy day, albeit virtual. You know, and I saw in the comments how some people prefer having a virtual lobby day. I can say this, it was really great for us to be able to have help with the virtual component, scheduling meetings and always having somebody that could help fix anything at the last minute. So that was nice. That was a nice element. But overall, advocacy is advocacy, whether you're in person or you're on the phone or you're writing emails or getting fun of somebody at a state fair. Advocacy is advocacy. And as long as you continue to do it and you continue to push forward, you're going to see results. And I'll give you an example. We have on the call with us, Cheryl Silver, who is, I consider, one of our most successful advocates, as she is largely responsible for a piece of legislation called Johanna's Law. Johanna's was Cheryl's sister who passed away from ovarian cancer. And Cheryl thought that more ought to be done to make people learn about signs and symptoms, and there should be more resources available for ovarian cancer patients and women in general. And she worked to get this law passed with help from others, but she has been a dogged advocate on that. And because of that, we've had millions of dollars that have been set aside to work on ovarian cancer education and awareness activities over the years. And in fact, one of our main priorities this year has been to reauthorize Johanna's Law. And Rosa DeLauro and Daryl Issa and some others have introduced the reauthorization bill. It's HR 4412, which would reauthorize the program and set annual funding at $15 million a year. So that is exciting. That's an important piece of legislation for us. And that's just an example of what dogged advocacy can do for us. And so I'm not expecting every one of you to go out and get a multi-million-dollar piece of legislation passed, but we could certainly use your help moving Johanna's Law reauthorization through.
And just to kind of dovetail on that, to chime in really quickly and add that will be a big ask for our November, this upcoming virtual advocacy day, to whip co-sponsors. So that would be to ask your members of Congress to co-sponsor the legislation, because as Chad said, this is a priority of ours for this congressional session.
So with that, that's the end of our official presentation. I would now open the floor to anyone who either has questions or wants to add something either about the existing Advocate Leaders Program or their work as in advocacy, or just have questions for us. If you do want to speak, go ahead and take yourself off mute, and then just let us know that you want to say something so we can keep from overlapping speakers. But the floor is now open, and if anybody has any questions, please pop in. And if you, okay, there I see Lori's got her hand up. So Lori, go ahead.
First of all, I want to say thank you. I was just told, I believe it was yesterday, that I am an advocate leader now for Nevada. So thank you very much.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you. And I was just wondering, when will you decide if the March advocacy, or if it's February, will be in person or virtual?
It's a great question, Lori. And I think that we will lock in a date for early to mid-March, sometime within the next couple of weeks, and we'll plan on being in person. That's what we're going to do. And we'll announce that within the next couple of weeks. If it becomes the case where we have to postpone or change that, then we will make that announcement as soon as we have that information. But our plan is to go in person, and we'll have that date within a couple of weeks. So I know that's not a perfect answer, but given the circumstances and if there are any health related issues or pandemic related issues that cause us to have to go virtual again, we'll make that decision later. But we are planning on going back in person, and it will be in March.
Okay, thank you.
And as I noted, while we are planning on being back in person, we will also have a virtual lobby day next year at some point as well. So for those of you that enjoyed the virtual component, don't worry, it will stick around moving forward.
Can I ask a
Karen,
quick?
this is
oh, go ahead.
Sally. There's a question in the chat from Joan Gummels. She wants to know, how do we find out who the advocate leaders are for our state?
Raise her hand.
That's great. Thanks, Joan. What you could do is reach out to us, and the person that you would reach out to is Rohan.
Yeah.
Rohan, do you think you could put your email address in the chat? Rohan, if there happens to be someone in your state that's an advocate leader, Rohan will reach out to them and have them reach out to you so that you guys can connect.
All right.
How do I read? Oh, Cheryl. Yes, you're up now.
Okay, thank you.
The
Okay.
aforementioned Cheryl.
Okay, the aforementioned Cheryl, thank you. Okay, so I have a quick question. I didn't have time to check today, or frankly, even this week, but about a week or two ago, I did check the HR 4412, right? The
Yes.
congress.gov to see if we had added any or many co-sponsors after Rosa, introduced it in July. And a couple of weeks ago, I only saw one. Have they added any since Congress is back in session?
I don't think so. I don't think anybody has signed on, at least that I've noticed. I like you, haven't checked over the last day or
Oh,
two.
okay.
And so we were at about 5 or 6, I think.
Right.
That said, there have been a lot of, as you know, competing priorities over the
Right.
last few weeks. But our intent is to really make that push as we go when we get back. Yeah, 6 co-sponsors now. So no, Cheryl, not yet. But I think that with some work, we ought to be able to get those numbers up into the dozens and hundreds without breaking
Even
a sweat.
Are we waiting to do that until mid-November, or are we starting this fall?
No. In fact, we had an alert at the end of September that we had go out to a few people, just a small one, just to keep people excited about it. And then we're going to go out with another full alert to our full list, and then start scheduling meetings in the run up to the November advocacy day.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, because it seems like you don't want to wait until just before
Absolutely
Thanksgiving.
not.
Yeah,
We just want to get the appropriations finalized and through too. Hopefully that everything will go the way we expect it to.
Mhm.
I know we've got a couple more weeks probably now that Congress.
Oh, you mean the OCRP money is not a given? It's not finalized?
Nothing is finalized
Nothing is
yet.
finalized. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
but we've got our fingers crossed.
Okay. Okay.
It's like we have Patricia has her hand up, and then Kelly after that.
Yeah, quick question for you. If we have an in-person advocacy day in March, does it run like Thursday through Saturday? Does it run Sunday to, where does it run? So I kind of get an idea of how to schedule kids and everything
Yeah.
else.
Well, the way we like to do it, Patricia, is ideally we would have people fly in on Sunday night. Then we spend all day Monday training, and then Tuesday morning and early afternoon would be meetings, and people would be able to fly back out on Tuesday evening. That's generally the way we like to do it. It's possible that it could go Tuesday, Wednesday, but the best day to be on the Hill is Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. And so generally we do Monday, Tuesday. Said a lot of days there, but hopefully that was clear.
Yeah, the idea would be that you fly in Sunday night, and then we have some sort of all-day training session activities that Monday, and then the meetings are on Tuesday, and so most folks leave that Tuesday evening.
Oh, do I get to raise my hand this way or?
I think somebody was in front of you, Carla.
Okay, thanks. I'm going to learn how to do this.
Next.
Here we go.
Yeah, I'm new to this, just really new to it. And I just wondered if there are ways to plug in, I have mobility issues and traveling is difficult. And I imagine that it's very expensive to stay in a hotel in Washington, DC. And so I was wondering if there are other ways to plug in. My background is in journalism. I'm a writer, and so I was in public relations for 25 years. So I have other skills that might be useful.
Yes.
I'm in Texas, and I'm dealing with legislators who are not great at playing in sharing or being bipartisan. And so,
Kelly, you're speaking the language. You're speaking the language that's going to really appeal to my colleague Vanessa Kramer, who's also a Texan, and in part. And yes, there are lots of other ways for you to get involved, and we could particularly use someone with a writing background that could help draft different types of editorials and articles, letters, and so forth. We would certainly be interested in that sort of activity. And if you're interested in being part of the Advocate Leaders Program, we would talk through all of this in an interview and try to identify where you might be able to best fit in the program and how you might best be able to participate.
Okay.
Definitely, just want to echo Chad on that we would definitely find a use for your skills and background, and not being able to participate in the DC fly-in day in person is certainly not a disqualifier. It's kind of wild because that, of course, while it's a soft requirement, it is soft because we understand our patient population and things do come up. So I don't think we've ever dismissed anyone for missing it in person, A, and B, to Chad's point, now with everything being virtual and with it being kind of a different landscape post-COVID, there is always kind of a way to slot you in and to engage with members, not being in person. So definitely, we would love to have you apply, Kelly.
Yes. Carla, you're up. And you're muted.
I'm always muted. Am I unmuted now? Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
So I just wanted to mention about the timing coming in and out. I know that we're always told that, we can't count on what time of the day the meetings are, and sometimes they're late in the day. But for anybody who doesn't know this, to be there with a couple of hours in between meetings or whatever is one of the big joys of getting together with some of these other women for dinner and for, whatever. I think some people have cocktails, and but also, you can run in and out of all the Smithsonian museums that are right there for free. You can run in for 45 minutes and have an experience that you can only get in Washington, DC. And then I typically don't fly home until the next morning because I want to hang around with anybody I can. It's, if you have the chance to be in person with these other people that are doing this work, it's one of the greatest kind of fellowship gangs you can hang with. And I can't wait to be back in person with everybody, with the staff, as well as the other, survivors and family members and people who are putting their hearts into this work. And I want to say that I come from Florida and have not had, the most gracious relationships with, for example, my senators. But I have to say that I found the most informed, the most, interested health legislative aide in Senator Rubio's office, a woman who really was on top of this. And a young man in a congressman's office who's no longer my congressman, but who wasn't someone I voted for or supported, but a young man whose mother had ovarian cancer and was the one that we met with. And I learned, not to prejudge, and which I'm still learning at this ripe age, but I've been pleasantly surprised. And I've also been, also had my judgments reinforced in a couple of situations, but you never know who you're going to meet in these offices and what kind of reception you're going to get. I have been pleasantly surprised more often than the opposite. So
That's great, Carla. And I share that excitement when we have lobby day. There's nothing more gratifying to me than walking around the congressional buildings and then just seeing like clusters of teal moving from meeting to meeting, and or huddling in the cafeteria, or standing outside an office getting a picture with their member of Congress. And it's so impactful to see that. And it makes even though I end up walking about 12 or 13 miles on those days, it makes those miles feel a lot later to see everybody working so hard and having such a big impact. So I agree. I agree with you, Carla. It is a great experience. So anybody else questions, or any just want to bend our ear? I see a lot of our current members still looking around. Marcy's got a, she's waving now. Hi, Marcy.
Hi,
Marcy,
everyone.
Okay, there you are. I was just going to say you did such a great
Trudy.
advocacy thing last week for Mioka.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
That's great.
Thank you. I was glad you were on it.
Yeah,
We
no,
did a
you did a
training.
great job. Great job.
Oh, good.
Here in Michigan. Yeah. So, thanks. Hope everyone's well, doing well.
Absolutely.
Some faces, new faces, hopefully.
Yes, that's right. We're gonna have some new faces pretty soon, I think, with the Advocate Leaders Program, and then we're gonna. I'm thinking we're gonna get all 50 states covered
Cool.
by next year, at some point next year, and if not, it comes out of Rohan's pay, so he's really hoping it happens
Yeah, I
too.
know. Like,
I forgot to tell you
like,
about that.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Rhode Island is one of those where I feel like we can get someone. I know that we've had a few people attend Advocacy Day, so if anyone knows any of those people from Rhode Island,
Hey,
Gotta be
Chad,
somebody.
as long as we're chatting, what's the reason for doing a November Advocacy Day? We've never done that before, and I was just curious. Is it because of Johanna's Law? We want to try and get that done this year?
Yes,
or-
there were two reasons, Marcy. I'll be completely transparent. One is
You missed us.
we were so happy with the way the virtual advocacy day went in March, that we wanted to have another stab at it, and we thought that we could have another run at really pushing for Johanna's Law and completing on authorization. And it was a little less expensive for us than having to fly everyone in and putting them in hotels and having them food. So I had a little budget left. So we said, what the heck, let's do another one. And that's what we're doing.
Cool. Okay.
I'm excited about it.
Right, we all are. Yeah.
Look forward to it.
Can I just ask a quick question? Because you
Yes.
mentioned, okay, because you mentioned Mr. Isa and Rosa. So and I've asked Jeff Salisbury this. So is Mr. Isa actually officially going to be the Republican lead sponsor, co-sponsor on this, or is Brian?
Yep.
Oh, so Isa is going to do it. Okay, good. Because he's already got his list out of because he got us about 80 Republicans last time around. We had 140, I mean, when we first passed it, and he really picked up the pace so that we had a very bipartisan group, because we already had like 144 Democrats at the time, and he very quickly was able to gather 79 Republicans, and many of them whom are still in Congress, but he's certainly connected to others. So, okay, great. So he's the official
Yes.
Republican lead. Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yep, he is, and his staff has reached out to us several times about one issue or another, and they're clearly have re-engaged after sort of maybe not doing as much, but now they're definitely back on
Very
board.
motivated. Yeah, no, I know. Jeff's very motivated and very organized. In fact, they even did a gynecologic cancer webinar. They were going to do it this month.
Mhm.
And I mentioned the days of the OCRA conference, so they moved it, I think, to October 6th or something like that. But so he's doing one, yeah. And I think
Great.
Chris Pleddy from California is going to be he wanted a recommendation of an activist to be part of it from California, so I referred him to Chris.
Great, perfect. Thank you for doing that.
Sure, of course. Team effort, that's what this is about.
You're always our go-to, Cheryl. Okay, anybody else want to pop in? In 15 minutes, we have the Teal Takeover Party, which is going to be awesome. There's going to be a magician. I don't know how that works on Zoom, but I'm really excited to find out. So if there's not any more discussion, we can cut it off here and give you guys 15 minutes to prepare your teal boas and teal cocktails, whatever we have ready for the 6:30 Teal Takeover Party. But thank you very much for joining us. Rohan, thank you for running the session. And we look forward to hearing from any of you who might want to join the program, the Advocate Leaders Program. Stay tuned for information about our Advocacy Day in November, and the new Advocate Leaders application portal will be open soon, so stay tuned. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.